at ClassTag, and then I've got Danielle and Jamie on the line from my team as well. And I'm just so thankful that y'all are choosing to spend the next 30 minutes with us. We are so excited about the release of this feature, and we hope that you are equally as excited as we are. Some of you may be familiar with ClassTag, some of you may be new to ClassTag. So we're just going to do a real quick overview of what ClassTag is if you are new. ClassTag is an all-in-one family communication and engagement platform for teachers, schools, and districts. So combining all of these things here, mass communications, two-way messaging through multi-channel reach, email, text, push notification, auto-translated into over 150 languages for all of your parents. We incorporate community engagement functionalities to really increase family participation, paired with event management, signups for volunteers, donations, contributions, and then full data analytics. So you can really make sure you're honing in on key family communication and engagement, and hopefully also identifying any gaps so that you can really increase all of your parent communication and engagement data. But we are here today to talk about newsletters. Yay! So with newsletters, we'll dive into the product in just a minute, and we'll build out a newsletter together with this new feature. Keep in mind that when you build these newsletters and send them out, you are still accessing ClassTag's multi-channel reach. So parents can receive these newsletters via email, via text, via push notification. They will be stored inside ClassTag, so parents can always go back to ClassTag and find these newsletters at any time. They will be auto-translated into each parent's preferred language as it is noted in ClassTag. You can add your family, your commenting, your email replies, those pieces you can choose to add or not add to these newsletters. And then if you're a ClassTag Connect customer, you can also share these newsletters publicly out on your social media channels, to your public website, and any other place that you would want to share these newsletters. So let me switch over to the product. And if you have access to ClassTag and you want to build one out alongside of me, feel free to do so. I am here on a school page. Teachers can access newsletters from their classroom page. District leaders can access newsletters from their district page, but today we're going to build one out from the school page. And you would start building a newsletter just like you would any other announcement. So we're going to click on the orange circle and we are going to create an announcement because that's essentially what a newsletter is. It's just that the formatting is a little bit different. So you have your traditional announcement interface here, one that you've probably used before. And you have your audience down here. So as a school-wide, I'm going to choose school-wide. If I did not want to share it school-wide, I could choose select classrooms. Teachers can choose one or multiple classrooms. You do also have a way to only share newsletters with specific families. If you go through the school directory, you can do that. We can send you more information on how you would do that. But today we're going to send this announcement out to the entire school. And so now we're going to build a newsletter. Everything makes me think of a song, so I'm instantly thinking of a song from Frozen. Do you want to build a newsletter? Yes, I do. All right, so you have this nice little template that you can start with. You can remove any of these blocks just by clicking on it, and you can delete them. So you can modify this template any way you want. Now, you can't save your own templates yet, but stay tuned. That feature will be coming soon, so you can save your own templates. All right. You have these content blocks that you can choose from, and it's very easy to just drag and drop any of these blocks where you want them to go in your design. So we're going to start with the columns block, and say I want to add some new columns here. It lets you choose, you want 1 column, 2 columns, 3, so forth. So we'll build a 2-column section. Now you have a lot of other ways that you can customize this. You can get as fancy as you want, but the title of this session is Getting Started with ClassTag Newsletters, so we're not going to get too advanced today. All right, so I have some columns. I'm going to click this X here, and now I can drag any of these other blocks into these blue spaces that I've created here. So maybe we're going to put an image on the left side and some text on the right side. And I want to move my heading up. There we go. See, drag and drop. All right, this is going to be our February newsletter. You guys might need to help me fill in the content. What's going on in February that we might need to inform families about? Now it's interactive. Valentine's Day.
Ooh, Jamie said Valentine's Day party.
Valentine's Day parties. We need volunteers. All right, to add an image, again, you just click on that block, and on the right side, you have the option to upload an image, or we even have stock photos you can choose from. So if you already have an image in mind that you've saved to your computer, you can add that. Spring break, we'll add that one later. There we go. All right, let's say I like this section. Again, I can duplicate it and then just modify as needed. But anytime there's something I don't like, I can just delete it. All right, let's see what other blocks we have here. Again, we have a heading block, so you can add headings. You can customize your headings. You have some options here. You can turn any of your headings into a link. You can even add emojis to your headings. We have the text block. Again, so this is where you're going to start adding paragraphs, more information about each of the sections you're creating. Again, you can customize any of these text blocks with different fonts, colors, sizes, and then you can turn anything into a link that will be clickable right there within your newsletter. Images, again, if you don't use the column section to say, I wanted 2 columns or 3 columns, it'll automatically create it as 1 column. So you can add 1 large picture. We definitely want to celebrate that spring break is coming soon. And any of the images that you add in here, you can add a link to them. So if I scroll down, inside this action, I've clicked on this image and I want to add a link to this image. Now this image is clickable. When parents receive this newsletter, they can click on the image and it'll take them directly to the next site that you want them to be directed to. Again, there are a lot of other ways that you can enhance or customize this block and any of the other blocks, but thinking about what you might want to do just to get started, that's what we're talking about today. The apply effects, even though this is a little bit more advanced, it is kind of fun to know that you can even modify these images directly in the newsletter builder. So one that I like is just adding a frame around this image. And now that is applied right there within my newsletter. All right, you can add buttons. When you add a button, it looks like this. So I would recommend customizing it until you like the way it looks, like I've done here. And once you've created a button that you like, duplicate for as many different buttons as you want to use within your newsletter, and then you can move them throughout your newsletter. For each of these buttons, you can modify the text on the button. And then you can also type a link over here on the right side of where you want this button to redirect them. This will especially be nice once you've decided that this is a template I want to use over and over and over again for every month we send out this newsletter. You might have some buttons that just remain at the bottom of every newsletter you send out. Your monthly calendar, your lunch menu, your staff directory, all of those just live at the bottom of your newsletter all the time. You may even add, let's say at the bottom, if you wanted to add an image that is a footer for your newsletter, or you can even create it as a text block. Within your text block, you can color the whole block. Oh, that's the text. I know there's a place I can add a color to the block. I did it the other day, but you can customize the color of this block and then the text within the block. So maybe that's the footer that's always at the bottom of your block. You can have links to your school website. You can even, here, this is interesting. Within that block, if you add something as a link, you can change that link to go to a website, to send an email to someone, or even call a phone number. So if you want your school's phone number to be linked somewhere within your newsletter, you can do that. When they click on that, it will dial up your front office or whichever number you put in there. So again, there's a lot of stuff in here you can play with, but just building out the design of your newsletter is pretty simple with the drag and drop blocks that you can add, remove, and duplicate. Here you can also modify the body of your newsletter. So you can say, I want the text to be a certain color. I want the background of my newsletter to be aligned with our school or district branding. You can do that. You can change the width of your newsletter and some other options there as well. Again, once you're able to save your own templates, this will be really nice to say, I want all of our district monthly newsletters to look like this. And then all you have to do is go in and update the content. And then this last one, images, is just taking you to the stock photos that you have to choose from. All right. Down here at the bottom left corner of your screen, you can undo any changes that you make. You can redo any changes. You can also preview. I love this feature. So I can see, what is this design going to look like on a desktop, a tablet, and a mobile device. And then again, I have desktop and mobile view here. So I can compare and make sure that all of my friends on mobile devices are going to receive an equally great experience as those on our desktop devices. All right, once you are pleased with your design, all you would do is click the next button. Then it'll prompt you to give a title. And then you have a few other options here. So don't forget to click on this settings wheel in this interface. This might be a little bit new. When you click on this settings wheel here, there's some really important enhancements that you can add to this newsletter. The first one is making it a priority announcement. For those of you who are using ClassTag Connect, you have the ability to override parent preferences and send it out as many different channels as possible. So instead of it only being sent via email or only being sent via text, you are going to override that and send it via email and text and push notification if possible, all the ways possible to each of your families within your ClassTag account. The next one is making it public, and I will show you just in a minute what you will do with this, but this is going to allow you to take a link and share it wherever you want on any social media page, public website, anywhere else, and it'll direct them back to this newsletter without requiring them to log in to see it. The next one is allowing comments. If you want families to be able to comment and within ClassTag in response to this newsletter, you can allow that. You can always disable it later. If you turn it on and then decide, oof, that was a bad idea, you can turn it off later. And then same thing with email replies. If parents receive this via email, they have a question, they can reply directly back to whoever sent this email or this newsletter. All right, so we're ready to go. I'm saving mine as a public. Let's go ahead and allow commenting as well so we can see that feature. And then you have the option to either send now or send later. Danielle brought up a good point the other day that if you send it later, if you schedule it to be sent next week, you can go in and modify it as many times as you want before it is sent. So even though we don't have it save as a template yet, you could always create something and schedule it for later and revise it as many different times as you'd like before it is sent out. But we're going to send it now. And once the newsletter is sent, obviously yours will look much more beautiful than mine. Right within the home feed of ClassTag, because we allowed commenting, family members, staff members can reply or comment directly on here. They can add their how much they love your newsletter. If you click the 3 dots in the top right corner, you can edit. This is where you can go back. If you click edit, it's going to take you back to that interface where you can then move all of your blocks again and resend. If you resend, it is not sending another copy, another email to parents, by the way. You can disable comments if you decide that that was a bad idea. You can delete the announcement altogether. And then you can also share. This is because we made it a public announcement. We can now share it, and you can share it to any of these social pages. It'll ask you for your information to integrate the two, or you can just copy the link. And then once you've copied that link, now you can share that link wherever you'd like. I have an example of what that looks like on Facebook. There you go. So on Facebook, it looks something like this. And then any person who sees this on ClassTag, on Facebook, can click the link and they will be able to see that announcement without it prompting them to log into anything at all. Danielle has some examples that she can share in the chat if she hasn't already that are public links. And so if you want to see what that looks like once you click on it, you can see what that user or that person would see on the other side. All right, that is ClassTag newsletters, guys. I would love to hear your feedback. Those of you who are on the call, what does this look like to you? Does it look easy? Do you have questions? Yes, John.
First of all, we've been using MailChimp here for probably since MailChimp came out, and this is more powerful than MailChimp. The ability to, after sending, to go back and change something is amazing. And our teachers are just going to love this. This is so great. And I know I've been a big cheerleader for you on this section particularly since way last year. So congratulations to your engineering team for what looks to be just an amazing product.
Thank you, John. We love that. Thanks so much. Brittany, did you have a question?
Yeah, quick question for you. With that editing feature, I agree that is like game changer for us. So say we did send it out via email, text, and all of that, and we realized, oh shoot, we did have a typo somewhere, a link that was broken. We go back in and fix it. You mentioned it doesn't resend out. So like, I understand, like, if it was a text message with a link to it, the live version online would be edited, but the email version, say somebody didn't open their email yet, they would still have the previous version, correct? Or is it essentially sent out with a link as well?
Via email, it would stay the original version. Via text or push notification, it would be the edited version, because essentially what's happening in that text and push notification is it is redirecting them to the page on ClassTag. So they would see the updated version. It would only be the email that would be unaffected.
Okay, that makes sense. And then just one other question, and I did hop on just a couple minutes late, so you might have gone over this in the beginning. I apologize. As far as pulling lists and like the directory, I'm assuming, like, I'm not sure if you covered that, what that looks like with ClassTag, kind of incorporating into our systems. Do those update like pretty regularly, or is it a manual process? What does that look like?
Yeah, there's a few different routes you can take. So the easiest is if you are sharing it with a school-wide audience or a classroom audience, you can do that directly from the announcement interface. You would just make it a school-wide announcement or only choose specific classrooms to share it with. If you want to share it with specific families, you would go through the school directory, in which there's a couple ways that you can get there. A lot of it depends on how your school is integrating that information. So it could be as manual as finding those families and clicking them here. You can search by name. If you have brought student IDs into ClassTag, you can also search by student IDs. Your school may have also brought in some other student attributes. That's usually a process that goes through our data and support team. So I'm not sure if your school has that or not. But it would essentially all work the same way, in which it is grabbing that set of families, much like you can just search and click those families. Once you have found that audience that you want to send it to, you would select actions and then announce. And then you would get started with the newsletter builder. And once you've built out that newsletter for that select audience and you go back to this page, you'll see that it's going, I selected 4 families, rather than it going school-wide or only to some classrooms. There's only 4 families that are receiving this announcement.
Got it. Thank you.
If you have student IDs in the system, there's the button upload. You could copy and paste IDs and it will select the students in your directory and then allow you to select the guardians in that same way Karessa just explained.
Okay. So Brittany, there's a lot of different routes, kind of like choose your own adventure there, but we can send you more information about each of this.
No, that's great. I appreciate it.
Any other questions or feedback?
Actually,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, John.
I just want to know if there are any limitations that you found in the HTML block.
Oh, yes, John, that's a great question. That HTML block is so much fun. Let me show you one that I created with the HTML block. I think it's this one. Yes. So this right here is an HTML block from a video that I have on Canva, and I embedded it into my announcement. It looks beautiful in ClassTag, and even when you share that public link, so long it is as it is redirecting you back to ClassTag, it has worked fine for me. HTML embed codes do not work in email. So all they will see for at least the ones I've tried from Canva, it will provide them the link that they can go see. They would be redirected to the video in Canva, but they will not be able to see it directly in the email, if that makes sense.
I have one more question. Are we able to send only text messages out and rather than like email as well, like just a text message?
That's based on parent preference. So parents get to choose how they want to receive communications. So that's led by the parent, not the sender.
Got it. Thank you.
And what's the timeline for templates to be available?
Good question, Kelly. We hate giving concrete dates because you never know what's going to happen. We believe in the next few weeks. So we're not talking like months down the road necessarily. Hopefully in a few weeks we'll have it.
Great, thank you.
And is this rolled out now to everyone?
It is, John. It just rolled out today, just today. So if you log in, you should see it. Please let us know. If you don't, we'll make sure you get at it.
And teachers
We
have
would-
access to.
Yeah. Every staff member should have access, so long as they are they have the rights to create an announcement, whether it's in a classroom setting, a school setting, or a district setting, they should be able to see Newsletter Builder. And for those of you who have ClassTag Connect and have the ability to share those public announcements, we would love to see what creations you come up with over the next few weeks. So if you share any of those out on your social media channels, please tag us because we would love to see what you guys are building out there.
Karessa,
right.
can they use the newsletter in the quick links bar?
That's a good question. I guess you could. I never thought about that. If you have a newsletter and you have that link that you can share, then you can ultimately create a quick link to February's newsletter. And it would just redirect them to that newsletter. So that's a great idea. Thanks, Danielle.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll send out some resources later today from this webinar, and we just want to see what you guys build. So happy